Welcome once again to the Veef Show. I'm Andrew, and I am joined once again by some guy who has an accent.
You have an accent too.
No, I'm the default. Americans are the representatives of the planet Earth.
Yeah, according to Star Trek. Yeah. Everyone's American on Star Trek. Oh no, wait, there's one Scottish guy. Oh
No,
wait, there's loads of
what
people.
What about the Frenchman, Captain Picard, as played by...
He doesn't
guy
sound
from,
French.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
No, he got mad once at Data for saying French was an old language, even though he sounds like, you.
Yeah.
But, okay. So the subject of today's podcast is something that is very near and dear to the hearts of many Macross fans, Transformers fans, and people in general. Toy collectors, all those kind of jerks who spend money on toys and then bitch about it on the internet. So we're going to be talking about the original toy sponsor for Macross, Takatoku Toys, who were founded in, I believe, 1974. And they were basically trying to get in on this whole robot craze that Popey had engineered with, or created with the original GA01 Chogokin Mazinger Z, which is a classic piece and sort of very different than what Takatoku would be known for, which is the Valkyrie toys. So do we want to start with, to go straight to the Deluxe Valkyrie, the Batroid Valkyrie real scale model, whatever name everybody gives it, except, nobody remembers that anymore.
Well, then people just call it 155.
Or do you want...
Don't people just call it 155? I do.
Yeah, but it had another name.
It was like the Batroid Valkyrie is what it said on the box.
Yeah. Yeah, Batroid Valkyrie.
And the original ad for it said Valkyrie DX or something like that, I believe. So
yeah,
but the box didn't say
of
DX. Yeah, the picture.
Yeah, the picture of the prototype.
Mm.
Yeah, well, we'll start off with that, and we'll just cover the other stuff that one cares about.
Yeah, okay. So if we start off talking about the prototype, for reference, what I did to study up on this history was I used issue 134 of Figure O, that wonderful magazine. They had interviews with a lot of the people who were on staff at both Takatoku and this other company called Watanabe Giken, which was the company that developed the prototype. So if I briefly explain, if I can read my bad handwriting, I can briefly explain how the prototype actually came into being. We have to go back to the original plan before Macross even became Macross. You had the Mega Road plan, right? And before the Mega Road plan, this is all happening at Studio New Area. Before the Mega Road plan was this other plan called Genocidus. Yeah, so Genocidus was supposed to be this hardcore sci-fi
with the power suits, right? The flight suit.
Yeah, yeah. I think they had flight suits in there as well, but like the main mecha was supposed to be a go walk type of thing.
With the wheels on its feet.
Maybe. There's been lots of like different artistic. I think Miyazaki brought out a book a few years ago that had probably like the most definitive version of that. Anyway, the Go Walk is supposed to be like the backward knee joint machine thing, right?
The heroic bird walker.
Yeah, but nobody saw any kind of heroism in that design, right? I mean, at least not toy designers. So that's the reason why they could never get that show made. And at the same time, they also had to shop around some dummy plan, which was the Mega Road, which eventually became the Macross. But if you look at the Mega Road designs, they were originally supposed to be easy to make into toys. That's when they had like the flight suit and it transformed into a plane, which for the longest time, like the main gun was the nose of the plane.
Yes.
Yeah. And
which is also true in the game Bulk Slash.
what system is that for?
Sega Saturn.
No. I turned off. I turned off around that point. Super NES all the way. Anyway, so as you know, well, as some of us know, Kawamori likes to design not just on paper, but he actually makes stuff and tries to see that his transformations work or not in three dimensions. So before he started making everything out of Lego, because I think Lego somewhat sponsors him now. Anyway, he gets all the pieces he needs. He was making stuff out of balsa wood. So the pre-prototype was made out of wood by him, and it was just taped together and stuck together with glue and all this stuff. And they made this big presentation to all these different companies. And when they took it over to, well, before they took it over to Takatoku, Studio Nue is quite near this company that was Watanabe Giken, and they were the company that actually handled lots of prototypes for other toy companies, like Poppy, as you just mentioned, yeah. And they also handled prototypes for like Ari, plastic model kits and things. So they have a lot of experience doing Chogokins, and I believe they made the prototype for Go Lion and Dime Cougar and all those famous robots, yeah. So there was a guy that worked there that designed the trophies for the Nihon SF Taikai, which is the biggest like sci-fi convention in Japan, and it came to be known as Daikon for a while. So
Oh, okay. It all comes together.
It all comes together. So through that this guy knew Kawamori, and so Kawamori was going up to him saying, "Hey, look, man, I got this idea for a transforming plane, And the guy was like, "Oh, great. Well, maybe I'll show it to my bosses." And they did, and it all kind of came together in the end. So when Kawamori went up to this Watanabe company, first of all, he did this great presentation with all this material that he had. He's got all these designs and things, and he'd already worked out the transformation. So all they really had to do was just figure out the stress points and how it's all gonna stay durable. So they made the first wooden model there.
Yeah, I hit now on the Bandai Tamashii page.
Oh, you can?
Is this the model that's painted white with the red stripes, the VF1J?
And the arms are kind of thin? I think that's it, yeah.
Yeah, it's the one that has Valkyrie DX.
Right. So that must be it. That's the one that started appearing in magazines like around the time when the show first started airing.
I do like how the feet are very wide set.
Yeah.
Like how Etana would draw it.
Like how it looks like if the joints get too loose on the 1/100 high metal toy.
Oh.
I don't know if that's happened to you.
I didn't get one of those.
Oh, I have a couple. They're not bad. They're not bad apart from that one joint. It just gets too loose. Anyway, so I'm trying to read my handwriting. Can't.
Did you write this in Japanese?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Maybe I should have done.
Yeah. I write neither in Japanese.
Anyway, apparently after Kawamori presented them his model, they produced their model in 80 days, and this whole aspect of the durability that I was mentioning, Kawamori doesn't really understand about that. So there are a lot of things that they taught him. Like, if you put the arms together like this, they'll lock into place. And he was like, "Oh yeah, you're right." So it was a kind of a synergy there that led to the whole thing. And also the fact that, as I said, they had worked with Poppy Designs beforehand. They knew a lot about how to get joints to be all clicky, like this.
Yeah, well, hold on a second. All right, let's get that. There we go.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. That's funny, though, because an old Takatoku Valkyrie, they do get kind of loose, though, in a lot of places. Because they don't really have, like, the modern locking tabs, like newer Valkyrie toys. And
you mean like when it's in fighter mode, yeah?
Yeah, because with that, you have to pick it up by the legs, or the nose. That works, too.
Yeah, but like the shoulders are... They got springs in the joints. So they're always going to be quite tight. So those ratcheted joints, or detented joints, or whatever you want to call it, they were kind of what Poppy had brought into the equation.
Yeah.
I don't mean that they were involved directly in the Valkyrie design, but I mean, like...
yes,
Watanabe and Takatoku had worked with... well, not Takatoku. Well, Watanabe had worked with Poppy and had learnt that this is the way you design joints. Yeah. And so they just used all that knowledge and put it all together into the VF1. And then the prototype changed hands. It went over to Takatoku. But there was a problem. First of all, there was no time by this point. Because as we all know, this project kept changing all the time. Like they kept having to restructure the story because it was 52 episodes, then it was 48 episodes, then it was 36, and then it was whatever. And they were... Kawamori and all these people were talking to Takatoku, and they're saying, "Hey man, can you sponsor our show?" And Takatoku really weren't getting it. I mean, they saw that it had potential, but they wanted more information. And so during at around December 81 is when Anime Friend produced the pilot film for Super Dimension Fortress Macross, which is included in my copy of the Madman Australian DVD, but I don't know if it's also in the Animego. I suppose it's also in the Animego, maybe. It's kind of like a 1 minute or 2 minute film of mostly clips from episode 1. And anyway, they saw that, and they were like, "Oh, okay." So it's kind of a space battle kind of thing. But
nothing special at the time.
Not really, but it was a little more realistic than some of the other shows at the time, yeah?
Yeah, kind of borrowing from Dougram a little bit there.
Right. Although I still feel that Dougram is a bit more realistic, maybe. Anyway, there was one problem. That the young staff of Takatoku really saw potential in the Valkyrie itself, whereas the heads of Takatoku were like, we should make the Macross itself the main toy. And,
wow.
And because if you think about it, it is the title of the show. For starters,
it is the title of the show because it's like Yamato. It's the ship.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about the Cosmo Tiger.
I mean, it had a similar thing going on with Zabungle, right? It also had a giant transforming fortress, but they didn't make it the title of the show. Yeah, it wasn't called Iron Gear.
No,
the animation.
Although Zabungle gets replaced later in the show, but
the Walker Gallia or something. Yeah.
Yeah, Walker Gallier.
which looks much cooler anyway. So that was one problem, that the top of the company had to fight with the bottom of the company, and they were arguing like for the longest time. They just weren't getting it because the younger staff really knew what Kawamori was trying to do. They were trying to bring up a new degree of realism into this whole sci-fi genre. But I guess the older folk were like, no, kids like spaceships.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that they wanted to make the Destroids more. Because that would have been really funny.
No, I think there was never any plan to do it that way. But you know what?
Okay.
There were a lot of fans that really wanted that. And I've heard this quite a lot. Before the show aired, there were a lot of posters out promoting the toys and the kits and everything. And I believe some of the kits came out before the show aired. I have to go back and check. There was a recent article on this, like half a year ago, in Model Graphics.
Okay.
That other one.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, it's got that Tenjin Destroyer on the front, yeah?
Yeah.
So they were talking about, like, well, there were all these posters, and they had, like, stacks and stacks of Destroyed Spartans and Defenders and whatnot.
No Spartans. They didn't have the Spartan.
Oh, did they not?
No, that came later in the show.
In the show or the kids? Because when they... Well, I guess they released them in waves, maybe. But anyway,
Yeah.
they released a lot. Like, at once,
Right.
which was unheard of.
Right.
Considering they had two companies as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of confusion as to what the main mecha was supposed to be. People just didn't get it.
Yeah.
Even though it was obviously a transforming thing that's in the middle of that ensemble cast kind of illustration. And fans were excited because they'd seen the Studio Nue designs previously. They knew Studio Nue from like all their illustration work in novels and things like that. Like the Starship Troopers suit design, right? The suit design, they didn't make the anime until much later, but the design itself was around before Macross came out.
I just have to point out the OVA design is different. A little different.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, but it's recognizable, right? I mean, they both still look like that Tomahawk Destroid. To me,
yeah, it's just that the
anyway.
OVA one has fast packs now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, you know, the similarities there were enough to get fans excited. And they were like, oh my god, Studio Nue, they're making their own anime! But it totally wasn't. They were actually disappointed that the Valkyrie, typical humanoid robot, was still the main thing when they actually started watching the show.
Wow, really? Because
Yeah, they were like, oh man, this? I wanted the Defender or whatever. Yeah, they were really pissed off that the Defender and things like that, they're just there to get blown up.
yeah, defenders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Defender of the universe.
No.
So anyway, they finally saw the pilot in December 1981, and the broadcast was already scheduled for October 1982, which means they only had 10 months to develop, manufacture, and release the damn toys. So, another thing that I remembered. If you actually look at that pilot film, it's still got the old name for it. One of the old names. Super Dreadnought Fortress Macross instead of Super Dimension Fortress Macross.
Okay.
And
It's
got that
it's
title.
not Macbeth, is it?
It's not Macbeth and it's not Mega Road, but it's still... And one intriguing thing is that if you look at some of the line art, like the VF1D, it says it was finalized in July 1982, which doesn't make sense because the film already has it, and that was made in 81.
Okay.
So I don't really know what's going on there.
They're fudging the numbers a little bit.
Yeah, but the film couldn't have been made after 82 because
Right.
Takatoku had seen that and had based a lot of their stuff on that. So I don't know, there's a bit of discrepancy there. What else? That film was actually made almost immediately after the designs were finalized, because just before, like a month before that, Kawamori was still trying to work out what to do with the backpack. You remember that?
Yeah.
The back fins were on the legs for a long while.
Yeah, they're VF11 style.
Yeah. And I can kind of understand why Takatoku would think that Macross is the main mecha of the show, because the Valkyrie really only appears at the end of that pilot film. It's literally the scene where the 1D transforms into a robot when it crashes down, right?
Okay.
So the Valkyries really aren't featured that heavily. If anything, that Lancer 2 spacecraft thing gets more screen time. So I can totally understand that. But anyway, eventually, something happened. What happened? Once the bosses saw Watanabe's prototype, they were convinced. I mean, they had to actually look at the intricacy of the transformation gimmick, and they realized, oh wait, the Macross just transforms like every other robot from the 1970s, whilst the Batroid is, the Batroid is much more unique.
Well, I wouldn't say it's quite more unique. It's just every mode is recognizable. It has a silhouette to it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right, and when you say every mode, at the time, it was still only Batroid and Fighter. Go came afterwards, because...
Tell the Gearwalk story.
Okay, well, as I mentioned, the Go-Walk was a design which was actually made for a different show, right? That Genocidus show. And Kawamori didn't really think about putting it into this kind of dummy project, because it was supposed to be just a throwaway, well, we gotta make toys or whatever.
Well, you can kind of tell because the Takatoku can't do Gearwalk that well.
Well, it is that as well, but
yeah.
This was a design. It was kind of by accident.
Yes.
That they found that the thing that Kawamori wanted was he wanted some kind of a locking mechanism that would lock the legs into place.
Right.
For the Go-Walk mode, if he was going to have one for the Valkyrie. He obviously couldn't manage it on his rudimentary mini prototype. But the guy at Watanabe said, "Hey, look, if you fold the legs like this and you just do that, there, you don't need a lock. It just balances fine like that." And Kawamori again was like, "Oh my god, you're right." And so, what is it? Takatoku, they were impressed with that as well, so they started marketing it as a 3-type change. And I suppose they went and revised. They must have revised the story of the show itself by that point, which again doesn't make sense, because you see the Valkyrie transform into Go-Walk briefly before it transforms into Batroid at the end of the first episode.
Right.
Which is the pilot film.
Well, on the old compendium, they have the Gearwalk story, and they said that he was playing around with a prototype of the toy that didn't have the locks in the knees, and they swung forward. And he said, "Oh, did it just become a Gearwalk?"
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's the happy Egon Liu version.
But I wonder whether that was written. The problem with Egon Liu, as much as I love the guy, I mean, he never really cites his quotations.
Yeah. Well, he's got pictures from the creators themselves, so.
Oh, you mean you think he went up and asked them?
Yeah, he probably just asked Kawamori.
Yeah.
We're getting
where are we?
We're getting towards the first release, the first Valkyrie toy.
Yeah.
Which
after this whole matter was cleared up, that they would focus on the Valkyrie instead of the Macross. Yeah.
Although they did make a couple of Macross toys.
They did.
Yeah. Besides the big one, the Beak Macross.
Yeah, I have a Robotech version. The retool.
The declawed one.
I mean,
So
a small version of it. I never had the big macros.
Oh, okay. That's fine. So, I believe the first one that came out, though, was actually Roy's Valkyrie.
Was it? I think it was the 1J. You know why? Because apparently Kawamori kept going back to Takatoku to tell them what was going to be happening in the story, and he wanted them to time their releases to fit with the story. So the show began like in October, and by November, those things were on shelves. But I think it was the 1J that came out first because Kawamori wanted them to save the VF1S until that became the main mecha. So he told them Roy's going to die, by the way, and Hikaru's going to get his Valk. So when you bring it out during episode 18. And they did. They brought it up. I don't know if it's exactly the same week or what, but
have you seen this? Have you seen the ad with the proto head for the 1S?
I'm sure I have, but I don't remember what it was. Oh, isn't it? Oh, you know what? I think that must be like a custom of the 1J rather than an ad for the 1S. If it's the one I'm thinking of, like a different design, right? Looks more like
it looks more like the show.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, I think that was just
a custom.
It's to tell people that they should customize their toys, and I don't know if it was Takatoku themselves, but I think some magazines organized custom competitions and things. So that's why they even had a 1D at one point, didn't they? Photograph.
Yeah, I think the 1D was just a custom VF1J.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I think they all were.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they brought it out in November '82. By December, they'd already sold 200,000.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. These Yamato toys that they're bringing out now, they make like maybe 1,000 a run.
And
they don't sell out.
I think they wished that they had done more web exclusives back in the day to alleviate the VF22S problem and the VF11 problem. But, oh well. Now, one of the things that really helped the Valkyrie is that they're all the same. They just have a different head and paint.
Which I think had never been done before.
Well,
they did
Shazaku was basically the same idea.
Okay, but that's not a hero. I mean, you don't have a million Gundams. Well,
that's true. Yeah. There was supposed to be a mass-produced Dougram, but that never came to be. Yeah. The Dam. Which is a silly name, but that's Okawara for you. Yes, the brutish dog, which is pink. And what else can we say about the original Takatoku Valkyrie? It was rather adaptable because Kawamori coming up with ideas for add-on packs for it, which became the fast packs, which nowadays is such an outdated term. It's kind of funny that he kind of forgot about it because he learned that I don't use that term anymore.
What do you call them now? Just super packs?
Usually they call them super packs because a fast pack was the extra fuel tanks used by the F-15.
It's an acronym for something, isn't it?
Yeah, it stands for Fuel and Sensor Technical.
Oh. Yeah.
Eventually those just became conformal fuel tanks,
mm-hmm.
which doesn't sound as cool. CFTs. It's basically the same idea.
Super packs don't sound cool either, though.
Well, it sounds cool in Japanese. To make a super
this Valkyrie
Valkyrie
super. Make it now.
Well, first we saw the armored Valkyrie.
Yeah, which according to Kawamori Design Works book, was Kawamori had like kind of made them out of polystyrene and just stuck them onto a Takatoku. And he was like, "There you go, make it boxy.
Yes.
Please make it this way."
Yes. It is kind of based on an early idea, though, that one of the early Valkyrie designs would have panels that opened up just on the body, and there were missiles inside.
Oh yeah. One of the old,
sure.
like back when the Valkyries were a lot skinnier. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's always been skinny. He's just has a weird art style.
Mm.
But
I guess the Legios kind of copied that idea. That everything was.
Yeah. 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 Well, they copied everything.
They copied everything.
Yeah, more or less. So that was really the first time we ever saw a hero robot get extra armor. I would say not quite, because other robots had maybe a backpack.
Mm.
That was the big thing in Dougram was the backpack, which is
just gonna have a rucksack to carry all my stuff in.
Oh, it's got a gun on it, so that's important.
Yeah.
The shoulder cannon is very big in Japan because of Starship Troopers, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The New Age design, and of course later on in the show, we got the super packs, and this is like the little tiny cracks in the design because it couldn't really, because they kind of worked, but they also kind of didn't, because you just kind of flex the legs in a different way to make them fit. The leg packs fit, and then it won't quite sit right. It'll sag over time. But at the time, nobody really cared. It's just that now that we have our reissues and stuff, we care. And I have to say...
Yeah. I mean, it's not... They didn't have slots for it because I think
nobody
knew at the time that they were going to make those.
Yeah, that was a mid-season upgrade.
Yeah.
So it's all clips that go around it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny that...
Sorry, this is kind of not related to that, but when you said clips, it reminded me that one thing I liked about the Takatoku is it came with the forearm clip to store the gun on the back of the hand, the arm.
Which, they could have... Nobody used.
But I really do like that, from an early point, they tried to stick as close to the show as possible.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't put it on the arm itself because of the sliding mechanism for the fist.
Yeah.
Because it would hit it. But I have to say, about the fists, those get stuck all the time on my old Jetfire. They don't come in and out at all anymore.
What's that? What's that?
I don't know. I took it apart one time, and it's just really stiff, coarse plastic in there. And also, I can't get the armor on anymore. I don't have all of it, but the clips don't fit.
Do you think they've warped over time, maybe?
One of them has a stress mark.
Oh.
And but with the backpack, part of it's actually broken. Okay. Not all the way off, but part of it is broken. So it's like, huh. Yeah, it does.
So when do you want to talk about Jetfire, though? Because we kind of skipped over that whole thing.
Well, let's talk about Bandai. Because...
Well, it kind of fits in to, the transition period between Takatoku and Bandai. The ones who actually handled the tooling were this company called Matsushiro, and they were the ones who actually wanted to sell this product abroad. So I remember, like, over 10 years ago, somebody on Macross World, I believe, posted the address of the UK office of Matsushiro, which is in Leeds. And I remember wanting to go up there and check it out, but of course, it'd be long gone by the time. This was like 2000.
You probably find some like old file somewhere written in Japanese.
Yeah. But apparently they did sell a few, Though I don't remember seeing any English language Matsushiro Jetfires.
Yeah, the box is basically the same type, the same color and stuff like that, and layout. What it says, like space something on it. I forget.
It's not Space Gundam, is it?
No, it wasn't Space
That's something
Gundam.
else. Yeah,
Yeah, it was something more generic, like
Space Fighter.
Space Fighter or something. And I think they removed most of the specific terms for the character to avoid like any legal problems or whatever, or not to confuse people. Like it's like,
Which
what's
is
a
weird
Gerwa?
because at least at this point, was Robotech a factor already, or was
No,
because this would be around 83, 84,
right.
beginning of 84.
According to
Takatoku,
according to Mazik, it took 9 months to make Robotech.
okay. Yeah, well, according to Masek.
Yes,
Who knows?
yes, always.
Takatoku went bankrupt in 84, in May 84. So like
And
just a few months before
I have a good idea why.
because they weren't making any money.
Well, I handled Josh's standard night kick the other day,
Yeah.
and I was like, you know what? I know what this is. I'm looking at the instructions to make sure I do it right. It has a lot of cool stuff, like design wise, like the panel that closes up to all the forearm to retract, the way the fists go like down a track into the elbow area, and other things like that. But I was going to do it into fighter mode, and I'm like, this isn't worth it. Like,
If you showed that to a kid who had never seen the show, he would never think that would be a flying machine.
Yes, that's the problem.
It's like a toaster or something.
Yeah, yeah, that was the big problem with Orgus. Unfortunately, is that the stuff transformed just because Macross did it first.
Yeah.
Although they
You think it was-
kept trying though with Dorvac, which didn't work out for them so well. And I believe they were going to make the Galvion toy, but that fell into the hands of Toyco, who released it without any like markings at all, in a bag with a header card. So it's a weird. That is like the really rare toy, and somebody thinks that the smaller Galvion toys that got modified to those rarer transforming diecast toys that became converters in America
Yeah.
were originally Takatoku toys as well.
And they were or they weren't?
Oh, they were Takatoku toys.
They were, yeah.
But the converter versions are modified. They have like Gundam faces and stuff.
Convertors, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's like it's an interesting period in time because like anything goes, right? So all these licensors abroad can just say, okay, well, we'll make this line, and I guess that's what Robotech was.
More or
Okay.
less, yeah.
Get these plastic model kits all together.
Yes.
Gundam and Orgus, yeah, they look the same guy.
Yeah.
The wonderful world of Robotech. So around this point, Matsushiro was also experiencing problems. Yeah, so they kind of got assimilated into Bandai, as did Poppy and all these other companies.
And Hasbro was looking around for a big toy for their line for Transformers.
So it's really confusing because all of this stuff is happening at the same time. The mold is changing hands so often.
Yes.
At around 80, end of 83 and beginning of 84.
Right, because early Jetfires, which is how most people remember the Valkyrie in America, is Jetfire.
Yeah.
They had Macross kites on their wings and a Matsushiro mark underneath.
I had Jetfire when I was a kid, and I could swear that the box said Bandai instead of Hasbro. Which
I have the box. It has a Tatsunoko sticker on it.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
The Jetfire box?
Mm-hmm. So
that's weird.
I don't think that sticker came from somewhere else. It had to have come from the toy itself. So that's kind of interesting that they might have known about it and didn't tell Matchbox, which was a kick in the pants for them. Because, hey, our competition has the best toy that we need to make this show really work. But oh well.
So how did you feel when you were watching Robotech, which you must have been, right? Or did you not watch it at that time?
It wasn't on.
Oh, was it not? I was so confused. I don't even remember what I was thinking, but I know I've got this Transformers toy in my hand, and the Transformer that appears in the Transformer show does not look like this.
Yes.
The other robot that appears in this other show looks like this. Well,
I had said to Richard I had Clash of the Bionoids, and my friend had a Jetfire, and I wanted it. I didn't know what it was called in Clash because they never name it there. Although I had some model kits, so I had an idea what it was called. I didn't know how to pronounce Valkyrie either.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Valkyrie.
My friend said Valiki.
Valiki. Yeah. Oh. We didn't have any Swedish people to tell us how to say it.
Valkyrie.
And so it's interesting because Jetfire had a commercial with the Macross design with him and Shockwave. And there was a full model a cartoon model for him that would appear in the comics a few times. And in the background, miscolored, usually. Thanks, Nel Yomtov. And with
it was miscolored anyway.
Well, they didn't. There were very few set ideas how to color these characters, and Nel Yomtov, I guess he couldn't keep up with the 20 new toys every other week.
Well, I don't blame him.
Yeah, but even when he was, because in the cartoon he's Skyfire, but in the comics he was still Jetfire, even though he had the cartoon design with the humanoid face.
You notice in the cartoon sometimes he uses Go Walk mode?
Yeah, one time.
Oh, one time?
Once. Once in the last episode he appears in. And he barely speaks during it. His a miscolored one shows up later in season 3 and gets blown up. So.
Oh.
But, the last proper one was, I think, Day of the Machines for the cartoon.
Okay.
But in the comic, when he would transform, they would actually draw it more like the Takatoku toy.
Mm-hmm.
With, the backpack that he doesn't have, the tail vents he doesn't have. And it was really weird. And also, he was colored more like the toy and not the cartoon model.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he's a weird curiosity.
Because it's really funny that in the advert that you were talking about just then, the Transformer advert, his design is obviously not taken from the line art of the VF1. They've made new line art for it. It's much more boxy and much more in keeping with the appearance of the actual 155 toy. Yeah?
And it has little doors for the landing gear on his legs. If you saw that.
Oh.
Yeah. And
I mean, for me, the most telltale thing is the head, because if you actually look at the 155 head, it looks nothing like the cartoon.
Yeah, I wonder
the cartoon, the Macross cartoon, right?
Yeah, I wonder if that was just because of molding. They couldn't get the curve or something, or
they couldn't make round parts.
Yeah, they thought it would look better like that. I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know. Well, they redid it for the 1990 thing. Though. Well, I guess we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, because this is kind of where Bandai was using the toy as product for Do You Remember Love?
Yeah.
I believe some of those things were made by Takatoku, though. Like prototypes for the strike packs.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I think I heard it from maybe Matt Alt or somebody.
But the strike pack itself was, or rather, the Strike Valkyrie name itself was a product name that Bandai themselves came up with.
Okay, so that there just became.
They never say it in the movie.
No.
And the thing is, they wanted to differentiate this Valkyrie from the other Takatoku Valkyries to avert confusion. So they called this the
to replace one of the big missile pods on the back with a big old gun to make it cooler.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's funny because maybe this was one of those things that was planned as a toy first, and then Kawamori said, "Let's put it in the show." Maybe not, but
yeah,
I don't know. I'd have to talk to more people to get.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with that, but oh well. But it's interesting because we saw the more variations because now we still had the 1A with the terrible head that's like a balloon or a fish or something. It just looks so bad.
Blowfish.
Yeah, blowfish. But they also made the VT1, which probably has the most screen time in the movie.
Yes.
Even though it never transforms to Batteroid mode.
Yes.
Which is kind of odd because it does have one, but they just never got around to it.
Yeah, they have a line art for it as well, don't they?
Yeah. And also the VE1, which is on screen for 5 seconds, if that.
Yeah.
With English.
From what I read, apparently they were marketing these toys to kind of higher end collectors. I say higher end, not like Yamato stuff, which is like $200 now. But,
well, to be fair, I mean the Takatoku was I'm looking at it right now, 3,980 yen.
Yeah, but both kids and adults bought that.
Right. But that seems like it's a big birthday.
It's a more expensive thing, yeah.
Yeah.
No, certainly. In terms of pricing, yes.
Yes.
But those sold with both parents and kids.
Right, because it was a as they called it, a real scale model. Because it had a
high complete model.
Not
quite. That was something else. But like Bandai had their Chogokin stuff, right? That they got from Poppy. And that was for kids.
Mm-hmm.
But this was part of the High Metal line, not the Chogokin line. And the High Metal line, the first toy was some Elgaim toy or something. And
the big deluxe Elgaim toy.
Yeah, and that was for like collectors. And they were trying to not replicate, but kind of continue that line by introducing Macross from the second entry in the line.
Mm-hmm. No, that's high. Oh yeah, never mind.
High Metal, yeah.
I'm thinking High Complete model, which is.
Yeah, that came afterwards. So yeah, and of course it had the nice box art.
Yes, that is very, very nice box art for all the Valkyries in the Bandai line, especially the VE1, VT1. Very, very painterly quality box art.
There was also something about the VF1A. The art for that was originally by someone else. It wasn't supposed to be Kaido Yuji. It was some other guy.
No.
And I don't remember seeing this picture. Maybe you can find it on the net.
Mhm.
But apparently the thing is that it was rejected because it was too dark in tone for a kid's toy or something. So I have no idea what the guy must have drawn.
Oh, no, I don't
But
know.
they used they say that they used a picture in the back of one of the things that they included with the toy, which was not the instruction booklet, but some other leaflet, some insert.
Yeah,
So
and
if anyone's got that, check it out.
Yeah. Okay.
And tell me what it looks like.
Yes. You want to just cover real quick the other Takatoku toys real quick before we get into the Bandai or
Like what?
this era of Bandai?
Time Bokan? Time Bokan or something like that?
No, I mean the other Macross stuff. I mean, it's not
okay, all right. Not that. Okay, yeah.
it's not as interesting because it's the Destroids mostly.
Well, no, I like the Testoids. Like the conversion kits and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, the conversion kit, which was because the Phalanx, Defender, and Tomahawk use the same legs. They actually made a toy that has one die-cast skeleton that you can swap different parts on. And there actually is a line art design for the skeleton, which is really cool.
Really, I'm really amazed that they actually did everything according to the line art.
Yes.
I mean, that looks kind of perfect. There's really no way that you could improve that design even if you had modern technology these days.
No. And they also had the die-cast 1/44th scale Destroids. Except for the monster, which was 2/40th scale. 1/240th scale. Because, the monster is huge compared to the other ones. And these are the ones that became part of the Robotech line.
Yay.
Yeah.
And the
Fuckers.
Exo Squad line.
And the Exo... Nobody cared for 2 decades. Trust me, I saw this thing get cleared out so fast.
Yes, and that's when I got them.
Yes. A friend of mine got them when we were kids too.
I got them when I was at uni.
Oh, okay.
And some people who are listening to this might remember, like round the corner from Kentucky Fried Chicken in our uni town was one of these like cheapo kind of pound stretcher type shops, which is like everything is one pound. But these weren't. But it was even cheaper than that. This was like one Destroid was 59 pence or something.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cheap.
I don't know, around $1.
Yeah. Well, now it is.
Now I don't know how much it would be. So I got like maybe 4.
Yeah.
And I had this friend in Wales who had sold me a YF-21 Yamato, like an old one, with the first release. And of course, he sold it to me broken. Nice guy.
Okay. Yeah.
And he said, could you do me a favor, since you were telling me about those cheapo Destroids, could you buy 20 of them for me, please? And we cleared out that shop. But to be honest, no one else was going to buy those. So
yeah, just like what happened to Yamato with their Destroids.
Oh, their Destroids, yeah. I mean, they were selling them for 2,000 yen.
Yeah, I saw that on their blog. Little post-it notes on them. But yeah. But you know what? If they would just
Sorry, carry on.
I was going to say, if they just make the color schemes that we want,
we will. A blue phalanx, and everyone will be happy.
Everyone will be happy. Everyone will wait till it goes on sale.
It's true. It's sad, but it's true. If you had seen the pile of otaku scrambling for those, it was like one of your American football huddle things. It was quite horrible.
Oh, my American football huddle things. It's like
yeah.
I'm sorry we're not as refined with the rugby as you guys.
No. It was pretty intense. I was waiting for everyone to just clear out. Yeah, and then I'll go in and pick up my green Destroid. Also, I thought it didn't work out that way.
Well, you could just take one and paint it green.
No, because I would still have to pay marked up prices. They were cheap, and that's why they went. And it was the weathered ones as well.
Yeah,
even more expensive ones. Yeah, they were 2,000.
Well, you know what? Paint costs money.
Everything costs money. But still, 2,000 yen is incredible.
And there were also some vinyls. Lots of vinyls. I'm not into the vinyl scene, so...
Yeah.
Fuck those people. The Pyro Valkyries, which got released as converters. Little chibi SD Valkyries with a pullback motor that Toonami ripped off.
Morpher guys, yeah.
Pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
What else is there? Oh, and one of my favorites that I have a bootleg of. The tiny transforming ones. That were sold in like 3 packs. The Valkyrie Vatroid variation. Little funny English there. And it's so they're really ugly and terrible, but they're kind of charming. And one that I kind of have interest in, the 1/76th scale armored Valkyries.
Oh yeah.
Which have the cockpit gimmick, where the head tilts forward and the seat rises up. Yeah,
they made a couple of those. They made like a Hikaru and a Max.
Yeah, basically that's it. Just those two. So it wasn't just Imai and Nichimo and Ari making weird variations that weren't in the show. It was also Takatoku. Oh, and of course the one that nobody talks about ever is the 100 Transforming Valkyries. Which is just the big...
seeing Sorry.
There was just the big one, just smaller.
Yeah, I remember seeing a lot of those back in the day, and I don't see them anymore at all. I don't know why that is.
I think people just want the big one. They don't want the little one.
The big one?
Yeah, they always want the nice big nose cone. And, a lot of girls like Macross, so... So that's kind of the full range of...
But they also started planning the Eggplane Valkyrie, the joke machine,
the high comical model.
High comical model, yeah. Well, what became the high comical model, because it was planned by Takatoku, but it was actually released by Bandai.
Yeah, but they released it as both joke machine and high comical model. Like both things were on the box. Oh, and Takatoku also released that laser gun, which, if you dig into it, that thing has been released by every toy company ever. In different lines and stuff like that. It's like this most generic sci-fi gun.
Just put whatever show is on the air right now as a sticker on the gun, and it will sell. Or not.
Yeah. So, well, we can go into early Bandai. This is only about an hour. So we talked about before the range of 1/55th scale toys they were doing. They did do a 1/100 VF1A Hikaru type Valkyrie. They just modified the existing ones. They improved the mold a little bit as far as you had the canopy cover now.
That was not included with the first run of the Strike Valkyries. It was.
No, I thought it did have it, but it was the wrong color. Oh, no, I'm looking at it.
Yeah. I mean, it had like a screw-on one, I think.
Yeah.
You had to unscrew it. But they also did like a campaign where they had the clip-on one,
which was red,
as a prize for something. And apparently it was more popular than they expected. And they included it in every other release after that. But I don't know why they wouldn't have put it in the first place. It just sounds like an afterthought, really.
Well, it kind of is. I mean, it is on the design anyway. It's like, oh, well, protect the pilot, because it looks more proper that way. So yeah, Bandai didn't do I mean, a lot of new things. I mean, they took what they could get from Takatoku until they released.
Don't you think it's kind of strange that they would milk? They would not milk the VF1A, even though there's like 3 variants in the show in the movie, and yet they release the thing that is only on screen for 1 second.
Yes, that's true.
That's like totally the opposite of what would happen today.
Yeah, well, you never know. They make it a web exclusive.
Yeah. Well, they make everything a web exclusive.
Yes, they do. Well, you know, it doesn't matter for you.
It does. I still like to pay cheaper prices.
Well, yeah, but you're paying cheaper prices than I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do appreciate that. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, look at this. A little Gashapon set. I don't know when that was made. Who cares? It has a VF4 in it. What else? Well, they also released, I mean, we said the joke machines. They had 4 types. 5 types, actually. They actually did have the Max VF1A, the movie type, in it. And,
yeah. Which makes no sense.
Yes.
When I have the proper toy and then the weird egg variant. I mean, everyone who's a Max fan got screwed, basically. This is it? This is what I get?
Well, they did make a Max VF1S either. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Which has
so many missed opportunities.
Yeah, which one has the coolest fight scene in the movie. Yeah. They did do the Maximilia types, which had the same box with a different name on them.
Mm-hmm. And I don't really like the colors of those toys. It looks kind of weird. If you remember the Max VF1J that Takatoku did,
very deep blue,
very much of it, yeah, like almost navy blue, right? And when they brought out that egg Valkyrie, whatever it's called,
it's kind of a sky blue.
Yeah,
we have to ask David about that because he's big on the blues.
No.
No. Cancel my pre-order. Not the right color. It's like, fine, more Ozma Valkyrie for me.
adjust your computer screen. It'll be the right color.
Yes. And let's talk a little bit about High Complete Model because they have an interesting legacy. The idea was to make, this is 85, to make a line of collector's toys for people to put next to their stereos, more or less. With those nice boxes that display very nicely. Punch out cards that can go in a binder that you could buy separately. Yeah. More stuff on sprues to punch out. And a bit more emphasis on accuracy to the character. This is kind of the proto Soul Shigoken line. And I actually remember hearing that the GX01 Mazinger, the original Soul Shigoken, was based on prototypes for the High Complete Model line.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's kind of where it evolved out of this old line. So these are basically a refinement on the Takatoku, kind of, more or less. You still have the swing bars, which is the Achilles heel of every Valkyrie ever.
Mm-hmm.
But it has, the full landing gear, doors and the nose cone. I don't think it doesn't have the spring-loaded landing gear. It has underwing pylons. It has a gun pod you can mount in fighter mode on the arms. It has it still has to have the separate canopy cover put on.
Yeah.
And they never planned any armor for it. I don't know if they're going to have that eventually, but
I know they were going to plan something. One more release that they didn't release in the end, whichever one that was.
Yeah, because they did do the Hikaru VF1S, the Hikaru VF1J, And the good old brownie.
And the 1A as well, didn't they? Or is that the one that they didn't make?
No, I mean the mass production BF.
Oh yeah. No, but I mean the Hikaru 1A from the movie.
Oh, they didn't make that.
They didn't.
No, they made the 1A.
I think they were planning to, but didn't.
Okay.
Maybe confusing with something else.
That would have made sense too.
Mm-hmm.
And they
heard something
have some kind of funny touches to them. I like how the hatch for the head, you have to slide it forward before you bring it up. It locks in place, unlike the Takatoku. The tabs for pushing the hands out are hidden inside the back of the arm, between the bicep and the
like the elbow.
Yeah. It has the tail hooks that are part of the design, but nobody's ever really done because they're terrible and stupid. Let's see. It had a better VF1S head. A little squash, though. It definitely had a better profile than the old Takatoku, but I would say someone would say it didn't have the presence of that old toy because it was smaller. It was 1/72nd scale, which is a much more common military aircraft scale. Because 1/55th is, you made that up.
Yeah.
It's like you knew you wanted to do 160. I know, because Bandai did that with their Gundam kits. But you were like, just make it a little bit bigger to 1/55th.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mythical toy at this point because it's very hard to find one. It used to be, at least, because they never got reissued.
Yeah. I remember it was the Ultimate for a while.
Yeah.
Before the Yamatos came out.
Yeah. And
But still, it wasn't like the definitive toy. You had like the archetype Valkyrie, which was the Takatoku, and then you had this, which is like the modern interpretation. But yeah, you're still fueled by nostalgia around the 1990s. So,
which is when the 1990 Super Valkyrie came out, which is kind of an odd release because it has an arguably better shaped head.
Yeah.
But they removed the spring-loaded landing gear, which for some was a good idea because everyone used to call that the knuckle buster. Because as soon as you
I remember hurting my fingers as a kid.
Yeah, everybody does. And so this was a high metal release. It was 1990, which was still 2 years away from the 10th anniversary. So kind of a weird.
No, because they were planning. This was supposed to be number 1 in a series. They're going to plan one more, at least. And that was supposed to be the Stampede Valkyrie.
Oh, I did not know that. So that's where that design comes from, really.
Otherwise known as the Genocidus Valkyrie.
Ah, okay.
So if you look at Design Works page 70, and you can download that.
Well, I have both the book and a scan of the book.
Yeah. Thanks for that link, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm getting a book myself.
For the record, I also have the book, but it's thousands of miles away.
Yes.
So, on page 70, you can see the design of
the Star Child,
like the Genocidus thing.
Oh, okay. The really bulky, lumpy thing.
Yeah, and apparently they were going to make that.
Okay. So it isn't quite the final design that we're going to make, though.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I've never found any other information about that.
Well, it's in one of the PC 9801 games, so play one of those and find out. I think it's...
No.
Huh?
Which one? It's not 2036, though, is it?
That's the PC engine.
Oh, right. So you're talking about like Skull Leader and all those things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
It's Remember Me. NEC no. What? You are wrong, Mecha Manual. It's not a PC Engine game, okay?
So you made the same mistake I did.
No, I'm reading the Mecha Manual right now. The Macross
Yeah.
Mecha Manual. It's like no, it's a 98. I have the
PC 98.
I have the ROM of the game, all three of them.
Yeah, no, I have it somewhere as well. Never bothered with it.
Well, your computer probably has the proper text to display the Japanese text, though.
Yeah, no, I remember having a go at all of them at least once.
So yeah, I could see them make.
But anyway, we talked about that already.
Huh?
We talked about that already.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking, it's like
At length.
I think they could have maybe made this thing. It's not too out of whack for 1993.
And in fact, they could have just, being Bandai, they could have just made new fast packs and called it a day.
Yeah.
Just used the same body, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not supposed to be that, but
hmm
yeah, I mean, they would have gotten away with that.
Yeah.
Nobody would have told them anything. So the 1990 reissue, I got that in European packaging.
Yes. Is it?
I was on holiday in Spain,
hmm
and it was really weird because I really wanted a 155.
Yes.
I did have Jetfire, but when I was much younger, I was like maybe 11 at this point, and my Jetfire was long gone, and I'm not sure if I had. Maybe I had a model kit or something, but I wanted a proper like transferable toy, and I knew that Europe was the kind of place to get those kind of things, because they in those kind of countries,
Yeah.
like Belgium, Italy, France, they show anime like all day, every day.
Yes, they did.
It was amazing. They've been doing that since the 70s. So I went.
I
to all
will
the toy
sing.
shops.
I will sing the Italian Die Hard 3 song. Were you? No,
Go ahead.
I won't.
I can sing the Italian Tetsuji Nijuhachigo song for you. They call it Super Robot 28. Super Roboto. It's really.
I remember the Italian God Mars theme, which is just God Mars, do God.
Yeah, they're all like really cutesy and like really happy.
Yes, compared to the
You actually start
Japanese
watching the
theme,
show,
which
everyone's
is
dying.
crazy rock.
Yeah.
The dude screaming God Mars 5 times, but whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, no, I found one in the shop, and it was like one of the few times in my life where it was a dream come true,
Oh.
like an actual illusion staring me in the face, but that you can touch. And it's like a mirage that is there. Really, I couldn't compute for a while.
Yeah.
It was like, how is this thing that I expected to be here actually here?
Well, you just.
It was really weird because this was 1995, maybe. Yeah.
Well,
Really
well,
weird.
you know, the Kalamori works in mysterious ways. He will provide if you believe.
Yeah.
Won't you believe in
Feeding
him?
off the 5,000. Yeah.
Okay.
The feeding off the 155s.
Okay. So the thing with this toy is that it is such a huge part of the changing landscape as far as just the toy world in general, because like we said, suddenly Takatoku wants to make another show with the same idea, and so they go with Orgus. And then I believe they were going to sponsor Mospita, but they pulled out from it, which prompted Gakken, a book publisher, to try this. And, they did a good job. I mean, they didn't die like Takatoku did, but they got...
Well, that's because they had books
Yes, but-
to fall back on.
Yeah. But I'm sure that the venture was expensive for them. just to do that. And Takatoku lost a lot of money with Dorvac and Galvion, and also Beatras, which they became...
Yeah, because that didn't have a show.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
That's really bad when you don't have a show. Those are designed by Shinji Aramaki, transforming bug robots. And 3 of them came out, and actually had on the side of the box the part of the name, Beatras. The last one never came out.
Yeah.
But they were brought up by Hasbro, or somebody. Somebody made them for Hasbro to become Deluxe Insecticons.
Yeah.
But...
and I had, I remember having a toy, which was, you know the one that didn't come out? Wasn't that the Ladybird one? Ladybug?
No. They never really planned that one.
Oh, that did come out?
No. The one that didn't come out was the Cicada.
Because I had a Ladybug one. But it wasn't Beatras, it was probably some bootleg toy.
Probably.
But it was an interesting variant on that.
Yeah. I was talking to Matt Alt that maybe we could kit bash a Busoshinki into the Beat Papil, which was the Ladybug one. Or, a Ladybird. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, she is a lady. It's a female robot, yeah?
No, I'm saying because you guys over there, you call them ladybirds, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not. It doesn't really come into conversation very often.
I imagine it doesn't. But I watch, British video guys, so they talk about it. Like Dr. Ashen. Because he's...
Who?
Huh?
Who?
Dr. Ashen. He is a psychologist
I don't know.
who reviews crappy electronics and toys. And it was funny because he had a box of action figures, and inside the box was 2 Robotech figures. Just like out of random, it's like, I know there's going to be...
Well, he would actually like analyze the psychological effects of Robotech on people.
No, he just makes stupid jokes.
Oh.
Yeah. But...
Oh, we can do that.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, that's my YouTube watching habits. So the Takatoka Valkyrie, the 155th, took a break for a while. Until about 2001, when they...
until 2001, I thought that the molds had been destroyed.
Yes.
And I believe that somewhere they had been reported as such. Or maybe it was just a rumor.
Well, we know what actually happened. What happened to them is that something was damaged on them, because the forearms are different on the new one, the reissue.
Yeah.
So you can't use the old armor at all.
You can use the old the GPS armor, but not the super packs.
Actually, I found somebody said that you can, but it's a tight fit. So
yeah,
they probably, because the mold got a little worn out, so the parts were a little bit bigger, just due to
Well, who knows? I mean, they could have just retroactively like made new molds somehow.
Yeah, well, this is about the time when you could really do that. But what it really shows is that how important this toy is to the culture in Japan, the toy culture.
And yet, I have to mention though, this toy was only reissued by Bandai because Yamato was going and releasing their own VF1s.
Okay, so that this is where the rivalry starts.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Okay.
Every time Yamato brings out a VF1, Bandai says, "Okay, it's time to bring out the 155s again."
Yeah,
this has happened like 2 or 3 times already.
That is true, because we had the original reissue. They didn't really have any special name per se.
Yeah.
The boxes were kind of okay. I mean, modern, plastic bubble and stuff like that. Which I do prefer, because styrofoam melts and eats away when it touches the plastic of the toy. So it's like, it's a nice idea to have the nice sturdy styrofoam, but chemistry is a mean bitch. So they did make the one Super Valkyrie for it. They did have a bunch of them in the line, including those two Maximilia types. Oh, hey, look!
Yeah, for a while.
So, I didn't know you wrote the review on Macross World for the 155th.
Neither did I. What did I say? When was this?
2002.
What, can you access 2002 forums?
No, this is on the website itself. Under Bandai. The last new entry.
Holy crap, I totally don't remember. Well, go ahead and tell me, what does it say?
You're just describing the toy, how much it weighs in kilograms, because you're like that.
That doesn't sound like anything I would do.
This toy is a reissue of the 155th. VF1 Super Valkyrie. It's, pretty basic stuff. You are in Japan, because I see mats. The Tommy mats. Were you in Japan in 2002?
I was, yeah.
Okay, so I see looks like a wooden table. You put the robot on.
Holy crap. Hang on, I'm going to connect right now. This is like blowing my mind.
I know you, Renato. I know.
Maybe there's two of me.
I know you very well. Oh, and I forgot to mention that the reissue changed the canopy cover, so you could swap it easily instead of doing the clip-on or screw-on.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't do that on the first one, though. The VF1J, which kind of sucked. It's like, It didn't have any kind of canopy cover like the original issue, but oh well.
No, I remember. I remember what happened. They released the VF1J first.
Yes.
And then they announced that the VF1S was coming up soon, and they had placeholder photographs of it.
Mm-hmm.
And those photographs were of this prototype, or maybe a different colored VF1J, which had the skull and crossbones heat shield on the fighter mode. So everyone was panicking, saying, "Holy crap! It's not gonna come with a transparent cockpit.
Yeah,
it's gonna come with this thing." Because they already made the molds for the VF1J, and they're not going to swap out this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I think it was an afterthought.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I would figure it takes a long time to kind of retool the molds. Because they had to have retooled it, right? To take out the plastic canopy and to replace it with the...
Yeah, well, it depends on what
replaceable
part it's on the mold. Because
well, I would figure that
all they did was add 2 holes to the upper part of the nose section in the cockpit area.
Yeah.
However long that takes.
I don't know. It might not be that easy.
Yeah. Well, this is Bandai.
But either way, they managed to do it,
mm-hmm.
and everyone was pleased with the result.
Mm-hmm. Had a lot of tampo printing too. That was kind of a new thing.
Yeah, like pretty much everything that you needed, except for the shoulders for some reason.
Yeah, I didn't get that. It's like, why? Because I have the VF1A reissue, and it's like, why the shoulders aren't done? It's very strange.
Mm.
You didn't put them on in your pictures either. The shoulder stickers.
I'm looking at it now. This is probably just after I'd opened the toy, I think.
Yeah, okay. I can understand that because I've been doing that with my videos. Just got to get it first.
Oh, you know what? No, I think this is the other one that I have.
Oh, okay.
The one I have in front of me right now is probably not this one.
Oh, did you sell it and then buy another one?
I was going to sell it because I got this one for so cheap, but I ended up keeping both. Because this is not my house. This is
Oh.
This is actually my wife's house now.
Okay.
Well, she wasn't my wife then, but...
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay, no, I know what this is made in, this was written in 2006.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it says it right up there.
This toy had been out for a while now.
Oh, okay.
And it came out after I had gone back to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in Japan for the first run of these reissues, and I think after the non-fast pack VF1S,
Mm-hmm.
I went back. But this is a review of the fast pack one,
Mm-hmm.
and this was only made about 5 years ago, I guess. So yeah, this is the other one.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I haven't put the stickers on because I want to keep it new. I don't know.
Well, you know,
I'll have to go back and check.
you have to keep it away.
It's there in a cardboard box somewhere.
Yeah. Keep it out of the sun. So doesn't.
Oh yeah, these things. Yeah,
I
a lot of people's 148s are yellowing now as well.
mine's still pretty white. I have a first run Hikaru type. I do have to wonder though, looking at my Jetfire, why is only one half of the legs die cast? Because
The inner half, right?
yeah, the inner half is nice and white still, and the outer half is kind of well, it's yellower.
If anything, they should make the inner half plastic so that it's less easy to yellow, because the light would be hitting it from the outside. Maybe.
Light doesn't care.
I guess not.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's time to move on to Far Away from Star Sigma. A message came from Hades, who was sent to the Earth in secret for the peace of the universe, saying that humans can put the universe in danger. So the Earth must be destroyed.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. So which one is this one? Is this June's?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
In July 1999, Tyche, with calmness character, is sent to the Earth by the King of Sigma, Uranus. And this is the most beautiful part. Tyche uses his power to get into the Tim's dead body, and using Tim's body, starts to get in action. Nevertheless, Tyche hides in forest so that human can't notice him. Then Tyche meets Hades. And it goes on.
Yeah.
This didn't make sense to me for the longest time ever. But through the magic of YouTube, I rediscovered Space Gundam V.
Space Gundam Wii. Gundam Wii. Which is terrifying.
Well, the reason that those shows exist is because
of the bootleg toys.
No, but it's not just that. I mean, they can't just import the show because there was a ban on Japanese imports for the longest time during the 80s.
Yes. So
in Korea,
they decided to.
So they made their own. They just, I mean, obviously they had the designs lying around because all of these Korean studios were being subcontractors.
Yeah.
For the for Takatoku and Anime Friends and all these studios. Mm-hmm. So they made their own.
Mm-hmm.
And they mixed Casheron with Gundam, with Valkyries and stuff.
Yeah.
And the story is actually Tyche dying because he gets bitten by a shark or something.
Okay.
No, Tim gets bitten by a shark and dies. And so he's lying in his deathbed. And Tyche, who is an alien, just kind of possesses him. And they go into the magical VF1J and beat up Spike.
Okay, so this is the kid with the faux pilot suit with the big R on his chest. For
right.
I guess Rick Hunter.
From Casheron. Of course. That's where they got the idea from.
Yeah.
Does anyone know what we're talking about, by the way? This is June's. June's is a bootleg
pretty
company.
High quality though, because I've heard it's pretty. It's not like.
And they made some interesting variations.
Yeah, like a green VF1J.
Green one,
or was it VF1A?
1J.
Okay. Yeah, they just made a lot of weird little color variations.
So I think at one point the 155 was the most bootlegged toy ever.
Yeah. Yeah, because they
were still made even into the 2000s.
Yeah.
They were like LED variants. We had LEDs in the cockpit.
The Galaxy Defender, which has been drastically remolded. It has...
Oh, yeah, it's the one with like all this extra like garbage on the chest plate.
Well, all over the thing. It's like Kotoki got to it with his panel lines.
Right. Everything is blocking.
Mm-hmm.
And it's grey.
Yeah. It goes with that mutant VF-17 that has a face. Because I remember people used to buy the $5 on a card.
Oh, I got so many of those.
Yeah. That have the booster packs, just the back parts.
Just the back parts, yeah. No arms, no legs.
Yeah. And make customs of those.
Oh, I was going to do that. That's why I bought them. They shipped in crates of 6, so I got 6.
Okay.
There was a member on Macross World called VF1X.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a shop called VF1X.com.
Yeah, I bought stuff from...
Which I believe got shut down by those hormonal gold diggers.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember Kid Corrupt and his GeoCities page?
Yes, I did. Yeah, no, that was awesome. Because he had all those costumes of Transformers as well, didn't he?
Yes, he did old Transformers and Auto Valkyries.
Mm.
And he would modify them with like extra joints and stuff, so to make them better.
Mm.
That's still kind of a big scene, a little bit, is modifying old, newer toys, since we can get reissues now. And somebody recast.
Well, it's gotten. Yeah, I mean, it's gotten so to the point that people are making stuff on what do you call it, Shapeways.
Yeah,
and they can put like extra hands or extra weapons or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And what was I going to say? Crap.
Sorry.
Something. Did you want to talk about the Bandai Macross 7 toys real quick? Because there's very few of them.
I guess so.
Yeah. Might as well just throw it in there because
this was only going to be about the 155, but the connection with the 155 is that Bandai, when they were making the Macross 7 toys, did kind of the same thing that they named the toys. So Emerald Force color Valkyrie became Blazer Valkyrie.
Well, the names are in the show.
Valkyrie. But I think that's after the fact. Bandai names them before they were in the actual show.
Well, that's because but they call the Fire Valkyrie pretty early on.
Well, maybe the Fire Valkyrie. Then.
Yeah, I think.
But at least the Stealth Valkyrie and the Blazer Valkyrie are Bandai names.
Is that why?
And it kind of
the Yamato toys use a different name,
right?
Okay,
I think that's why.
Because they couldn't they just use the actual names for them, or does nobody really care about those names?
Who do you mean?
No, like because VF-19 is the Excalibur and the.
Oh, those names.
Yeah, those names that nobody cares about.
I guess they wanted it more kid-friendly. Well, the whole toys are super kid-friendly.
Yeah, I mean, I borrowed Josh's VF-17S to compare it with the new one.
I got both VF-19s when they first came out, and I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, they're
because I'd seen photographs, and the photographs that I'd seen were taken. They were taken from this kind of high angle.
Yes.
That didn't accentuate the waist so much. And when I held it in my hand, like it was so weird that the torso was so far away from the pelvis.
Yeah, they're not the prettiest toys.
Yeah, because they hadn't thought about the shrinking mechanism that Yamato put into the VF-19 afterwards.
Yeah.
The YF-19. Right?
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of okay for what they are. And they're
good, yeah. I mean, if you want to just transform stuff, It's good.
But I'm a big boy now. I can handle the new ones.
Well, I can't.
Well, that's because your kung fu is weak.
As is my wallet.
Yes. Yeah, that's true too.
I saw a Bandai VF-17 the other day for like 1,800 yen or something.
Oh, so like $50 American?
A bit less than that still.
Okay. Phew.
But I don't think that the Yamato one is worth 10 of those. Do you? I mean, you probably do.
It's like I said, how am I supposed to convince myself that importing a toy of a character from an anime from 94 is worth it?
No.
I can't.
Mm.
It's just, do I have the money? Yes. Do I want it? Yes. Am I going to gloat about it on the internet? Yes. Although I do, Graham said, my Lord Graham, said that he has the special plated versions with that card. Because I've never seen that artwork anywhere else.
Mm.
And that's Kawamori artwork on that card.
It is, yeah.
That's totally his style.
I hear that they have a serial number there, and everyone's is the same.
Yeah, well.
I don't know what the... for a while, those limited edition ones weren't so hard to get.
Right.
Chromed ones.
Yeah. Oh, well.
I still saw them in shops, and not even that expensive, like maybe 4,000 yen.
Yeah, just steal the card for me and scan it.
Yeah. I find it strange that nobody's done that, because I know that there are people on the internet that have them.
Well, the Macross Hamashi guy does have one. He has all three. Mm-hmm. He didn't just take... I want a really high-quality scan of it. It's like a poster or something. But
Can I just ask that guy who did the Collection DX review?
Nobody did that.
No, they did. There was a review of I don't know which one it was, but it was a gold-plated one. Gold-plated maybe 17.
Yeah, the 17 was the gold-plated one. 17S.
Yeah, well, that came with the card.
Well, to be honest, like a lot of people who work for the website are kind of, not writing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, oh well. And also there was like the Micro Macross series, which
Yay.
These days that's trading figures, more or less.
Yeah, but it's nice that they all came packaged and they're not blind boxed, and you get the ones you want.
Yeah. And to this date is the only toy of the Elgazone bad guy fighters.
Yeah, good luck looking for that.
Yeah.
And they were going to bring out other stuff as well, I heard. Like BF11s and...
Yes, yeah. There's that great store display that is the bridge for the Battle 7, which is the closest we ever got to having a Battle 7 toy.
I wonder what that... Yeah, I wonder what that is now.
It's cardboard, so they probably just threw it out. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So that's kind of...
Wasn't that going to come out as a toy? That kind of a playset or something?
I don't know. I think it's just a... It probably is, yeah. Yeah, I can see that being a toy. It has the magnetic catapult, too, for the Diamond Force Valkyries. So, that's really cool. And little 7s everywhere because, Macross 7. There's also a couple of random ideas that they never followed up on. Like the for the 1990 Valkyries, they're going to make new heads for the 155th.
Are you confusing that with Toy?
No. They this is on Macross World on the unreleased page. and they have a picture of the prototypes for them. They're pretty rough, not too prettier than the originals, but it was a start. But
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, there they are.
and also
I never really understood why they never gave the F1J a chin.
probably just molding, just the complexity of it. Because I mean, the model kits had chins, but that was a thinner plastic, so
Yeah.
not that thick ABS plastic that the toys were made of. But. And also the Advanced Valkyrie series, which isn't Macross, but it became part of Macross.
It might as well be. Yeah.
Yeah. That handsome picture of Kawamori in '85. And it doesn't look that different now.
No, it doesn't. No.
Because he's Japanese and they don't age until they hit like 60 or 70. And also, do you know anything about the whole Toonami thing? Like, because they were going...
That they were going to bring out the 155s and that fell through, like everything they ever announced, ever.
Well,
Except for wristbands.
yes. Well, they did make the Masterpiece series, which were
Oh, yes.
basically straight up HCM Pro, or not, HCM ripoffs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
except
Scaled up.
they also had the Yamato backpack, though. They stole the
Oh, the way the wings fall
the
down,
tail fin. They stole the tail fin mechanism
Oh, yeah, not the wings, the tail fins.
and put in an LED, which is like
Yay! Because all the kids want that. You know, everyone's a fan of Robotech.
yeah. And it, it's so bright it shines through the plastic.
So the whole head lights
Yeah,
up?
pretty much.
Did they all have the LEDs? Even the YF1R?
Yep, they all had it with two
Wow.
little watch batteries in the back that powered it.
Mhm.
And it actually made it so the head couldn't turn all the way because of the wire inside.
Yeah, I heard about that. Oh, wait, so how does it transform? Doesn't the head have to turn 180 degrees anyway?
Right, but it only turns in one direction.
Well, that
Yeah,
sucks.
because I think
There's an enemy to your right! Where?
because the wire would bunch up, so that kind of sucked. I think what happened there, I almost think that Big West was like, said to Bandai, "What are you doing? What are you doing?"
Well, there were lots of things like, I mean, even a couple of years ago, didn't they say that they made a deal with Kyoto to release those transformable Revoltech Valkyries as Robotech stuff?
They just sell them through Robotech.com.
Oh, they did sell them anyway?
Yeah, but they didn't like change the packaging or anything.
It wasn't repackaged? Okay.
That was just because
Oh, so they did sell them. So they did sell them.
that was really just because those things were tanking really hard, like everywhere.
It's because they sucked.
That was like extra stock that they could.
And therefore perfect Toonami material.
Yeah, well, it wasn't even Toonami. It was just the website. So
Oh, okay.
I mean, they have the right to do that. So whatever you want to waste your time, then by all means. But
Right. So the thing was that they were going to release the 155s, and they highlighted that it was going to be every variant ever,
yes, they were going to,
including ones that have never been
Yeah.
made.
specifically the VF1D.
Yeah, which I would have liked.
Yeah, because they never made one back in the day. There were lots of fan customs of them, obviously. One guy making heads for people to buy.
One guy made a box for it.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen
yeah,
that.
yeah. A full.
Like in the old Takatoku style.
One guy also made a box
that's nice.
for Max and Milia's Valkyries too, like a wedding set.
Like a wedding set, yeah, which everyone believes they saw back in the
Yes.
day. At one point, everyone was convinced.
Yeah, like the
that they
like the
had
blue streak from Transformers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And anything else I can think of?
Well, they re-released them again as Origin of Valkyrie, just that thing.
Yeah, that was basically it, and that was the last
A couple of years ago, when Frontier was airing.
Yeah,
But again, that was to compete with the 160's version 2. Yeah.
Yeah, or the Kanzen Henkei 160, because the first one was not so Kanzen.
It wasn't called a Kanzen. It was called Sandankai Henkei. That's the way that they officially differentiate between the two releases. First one is called Sandankai, which means 3-step transformation, and the other one is Kanzen Henkei.
Perfect transformation. Which was what the Valkyrie was all about. That's its legacy. Was capturing not every detail of the show, obviously, because the VF1 has that terrible secret to the legs that they...
It's so stupid, really, if you think about it. If something goes wrong in the middle of a battle and his legs go flying out somewhere, that guy's screwed.
Well, we kind of abandoned that when we had the transforming robots. But I want to see a toy do that. I do. I really do.
I don't. It will be the least durable thing ever. Okay, I'd like to see it, but I wouldn't want to buy it.
Well, that was what the first one was. The first Yamato Valkyrie, the VF1.
Yeah.
Didn't have the...
And everyone complained about it, see?
Well, because it...
This is not accurate.
Well, because it... I would say it did it
I have to use my hands, it's like a baby's.
Yeah. Whatever. We'll get into that later, but... It was the toy that kind of challenged people to... like make more complex designs. To
not just rely on the swing bar system.
Well, that, and it also challenged
and even
people of the time to make things transform. Because again, we had obviously, Orgus, Waspita Dorvac, Gal.
Oh, you're talking about the 155 now again, yeah?
Yeah, going back.
I thought you were talking about the version 160.
Bring it together.
Okay, yeah.
And of course, with Zeta Gundam, why does that transform? Because of Macross. And
yeah, there weren't any real transforming toys back then.
Well, no, there were.
You had like
there was Microman's Micro Change Line.
Yeah.
Diaclone in the beginning. It was the sense of doing it in the post-Gundam world. Post-Gundam landscape where
realistic.
The robot shows became... We call it Real Robot. They kind of don't in Japan. But trying to bring a realism to the goofy robots. Goofy giant robots. But, yeah. And if people want to read about this, I wrote a article for it.
Oh, you did? Oh, yes. Yeah, I think I read something like that.
No, I'll come clean. I actually wrote a... didn't proofread this yet, or have it copy edited. A breakdown of every single VF-19 figure that transforms. So that was about a week of my life.
Well, isn't there just like... But I don't understand. Were there that many? Were there that many?
There's 11.
Really?
Yes. Between resin kits and toys, there's 11 distinct transforming VF-19s.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting. And I don't know if I can publish this because I took pictures from Japanese websites. I did credit them, but I feel bad just, having their pictures in the document. But I'm sorry, because Macross Tamashii is so good about having 50 pictures of the box. So, it's pretty good as far as transformation breakdowns, but yeah. But that's another thing too, is that people didn't really go after the VF1 as far as making a new toy until Yamato tried it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the 155 was just the definitive one, and every attempt was really just going to be kind of
copying that.
Yeah, even the HCM, you know.
Yeah, or basing something on that. Because even the forgotten Banpresto Valkyrie.
Yeah. Mine's in 2 pieces.
Yeah. I still have like 3 of them still, or maybe 2. But that was a prize toy.
It was a prize toy, and I tried to win it as a prize, but I failed miserably. So I just bought it.
It's more expensive to buy it, though.
Like everyone. Yeah.
It's like $15 to buy one, and then you get it, and it's like, oh, this is a $4 toy, more or less. But
yeah,
everything was like the old Takatoku Valkyrie. Swing bars and all, and until Yamato.
It did have ball joints though, so it was a bit more posable.
Yeah, but ball joints are evil. If you listen.
Oh, it did something which was really, really good though. That toy. It came with all 3 heads.
Yes, it did, which is the biggest complaint about Valkyries.
What? Oh yeah, that they don't.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
But also, it had tamper-printed numbers, so it wasn't right anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't going to be right because you'd have a VF1A with Roy's Jolly Rogers,
with the yellow
scheme on it. Yeah, but I mean, that's what the fun of it
right.
was. I mean, you wouldn't see these Valkyries anywhere else. So I had interesting displays for them.
Yeah, you could customize them. You could try to.
Yeah.
And that's like a big thing with the old toys, was customizing them. Because there's a couple in the old ads for Takatoku, like this one Super Valkyrie with the swing bars removed and a crazy pointy nose. If you check, it's like, that's interesting. And one's made more posable. One's with the seat mechanism. So there was a big customizing scene even back then. But
and that continued even into the 2000s, the early 2000s, around about the time when Yamato came up, because I remember there were lots of people modifying their hips here on Macross World.
Yeah.
Modifying the toys' hips, yeah?
Yes. Yeah. Especially those VF11 hips that needed modding. They would mod themselves, actually. No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everybody was broke.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know how we can bring this to a close, but
I guess that's it. But I was going to ask you, do you have any kind of personal memories of 155s? Like you said, you have a Jetfire there, right? Any anecdotes?
Well, because I wanted my friend's Jetfire, because I had Clash, like I said, Clash of the Bionoids.
Mm-hmm.
He's missing an arm.
How the hell did he manage that?
I don't know, because eventually what he did...
It's like the strongest joint ever.
Yeah, he found his brothers, because his brother always had another toy, the same toy as he did. And he got like 2 left arms on his for a while. But then he found the actual proper arm and fixed it. So, yeah. That was kind of fun. And I found mine at a flea market in Raynham.
That's the place you go.
Mm-hmm. It was like $25. It has a beat-up box, which I still have, and some of the armor. I don't know how...
No, it didn't come with all of it. It didn't come with all of it.
Right, I'm missing a clip for one of the leg pieces and one of the arm pieces. So,
Okay. I remember. I hardly ever put on the armor on my Jetfire.
yeah, because
Just because I liked the way that it looked without the armor. I felt the armor looked a lot too busy. And even though I recognized the robot from Robotech, even in Robotech, I don't remember them using the armor. I didn't think I got that far.
yeah, because that's later in the show.
It comes in quite a bit towards the
Mhm.
end. So I remember just playing around with the robot, and I would take it everywhere.
Yeah,
And we'd go to like my extended family's houses and things, and I'd be sleeping in the car, clutching Jetfire. And so it went everywhere with me. And at one point, I remember, and this is the story, somehow the gun pod ended up inside the toilet bowl.
you dropped a gum pod in the toilet there.
That's right, yeah. Fortunately, though, it was before I had done anything.
Yes,
It's easier
Yes.
to
just get it out. Yeah.
But,
Did you have
yeah.
Did you actually
Sticker-
use the arm clip? Because the manual for Jetfire doesn't mention it at all.
Oh,
It
doesn't
doesn't.
It's funny because it mentions the Go Walk mode.
Yeah, alternate transformation.
Alternate transformation. Yeah. No, I don't remember much about that.
Mhm.
I don't remember. Could the Jetfire one shoot bullets, or was that
No,
not a
they-
working thing?
They pulled that out of
They took it out.
every Transformer
Oh, right.
ever at the time.
Hmm.
And I like how he has the rub sign on his head. And
Yeah,
it's like
yeah. I remember
it's like rub Jetfire's head for good luck. It's like, oh,
that.
he was everybody's buddy back then because we couldn't get the proper ones. Although Adam actually will tell the story about CDX Adam about how he knew of Jetfire, but then he saw the Strike Valkyrie toy, and he was like,
right.
"Why is this different?" And he got it when he was living in Hawaii. So,
Right.
and my Jetfire just came unhinged again because of his little stupid landing gear that doesn't lock anymore. So that's good. Good Jetfire. yeah, keep clacking it.
I don't know. What can I say? Just best toy ever made. Seriously, I don't. You could give this to a kid. You could give this to a grown-up. Everyone is always going to have oodles of fun.
Mhm.
They should put down the box. Oodles
Rules
of
of-
fun. Young and old.
I do have to admit, I like Jetfire and the Takatoku, but I don't feel satisfied with them anymore because I have fun when I transform the new ones because they're like
Mhm.
crazy, kind of more intricate, but not really.
Mhm.
Until they break like that stupid fucking Bandai toy.
Which one is this?
You will see in the video when you watch it.
Okay.
Okay. A little preview for the review that's coming soon. Okay. So I'd like to thank Renato and his
Thank you very much.
editing accent for sharing a lot of
Yeah.
information that English speakers don't know because we're ignorant of the beautiful language of Japanese.
Well, eventually, maybe I should put together some kind of article or something.
Oh yeah, I mean I could publish it for you on Collection DX or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think best. Personally, probably best toy ever. You can't have enough R55s. I mean, I like all the new stuff and everything. It's all very nice. But this also has, the fact that it was a kind of a pioneering piece. So,
I do like that when Kawamura does interviews, he brings out his original toy. He always does.
The Takatoku. Always compares it. And he's always thinking, well, if you tried a little bit harder, maybe you could have reached godlike status like this toy here. I think he always views every new effort with a certain amount of, 30 years ago, this is what we made.
I think he loves doing it, though. Because when he was in that one issue of Figuro, the Macross Age one, where he's got all the Valkyries around him, and he's zooming around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Seems like he's really happy that he makes these and they make toys of them, and they give him some for free, probably.
Yeah.
But he's living the dream, and us, not so much yet. Okay, so we are going to end this episode and say goodbye, and you say goodbye.
Goodbye.
And I say hello.